Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. My name's Destiny. We do all kinds of things here, and today we're setting up for November in my bullet journal, my daily grind, and my book journal. So this video is going to be a little bit of a longer one because I did set up in all three. The raw footage was about like 2 to 3 hours long, so I did speed this up. This one is 10 times speed, I believe, if you're curious. So yeah, I decided for November I wanted something that was definitely me, and so I went with this book picture. I got the picture off of Pinterest, and I just I took it in Canva, did the lettering and everything, and then printed it out. I absolutely fell in love with the blue hues in the back, so I actually did it at, I want to say either 50 or 60% transparency, and then went ahead and added the blue in the background to make it even more blue greenish so that I could find a color that matched it. I ended up going with green for the rest of the setup, and loosely book themed, so you'll see here in a minute I'm going to use green to highlight my days of the week at the top. I'm using dot markers here and green to do my dots. These are not the ones that everybody talks about. They're the off-brand. I absolutely love them. I've never used the actual dot markers that are pretty viral, but I love these. And then I'm using my King's Art markers to do the rest of it. I realized that the darkest green I chose, black does not show up well on it, so I had to go ahead and use white. Me and the white gel pens don't get along. They just don't dry like I want them to, or they're not opaque enough. I have to go over them 3 or 4 times. I might be doing something wrong. Let me know in the comments if I am, because I possibly could be, but yeah, they just never work out like I want them to. Now we're moving on to my habits for the month, and I'm tracking a lot more than just my habits. I kind of went tracker crazy this month, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it up. I'm recording this currently on the 10th of November, and I think I'm like a day or 2 behind. I started tracking all of this in October in my daily grind. It seemed to work pretty well. It's just remembering to flip back to these pages to fill them in is not working. And honestly, opening my bullet journal daily is not really working. After the election, I took a bit of a rest, and it shows in my journal. There's some pages that are just blank and some that are backfilled. And it's one of those things that I am learning to live through and accept the fact that I need rest. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm using the King's Art here. I will try to leave below which colors I'm using. I'm going in now and marking my weekends because that seems to help me keep in line just a little bit better than if I don't mark my weekends. And I didn't want to use the dot markers this time, so I just used a little bit of color to color which weekend is in, as you can see. And then here in a second, we're going to flip over and do my first weekly as well in this journal. So going from the left to right, the left are all my habits that I want to track. I won't be listing them all, but YouTube, blogging, home pickup, Kindle, that kind of thing. And then you have my energy for the day, my sleep for the day, my water intake, and then my mood. They all correlate, and so I've been trying to see that correlation. And then I have a word of the day, which I'm actually finding to be a lot of fun. Talking about emotions is something that I don't do very well, and so I realized that I should just write a word of the day, how I'm feeling kind of thing, and I cannot use the same word twice, so it seems to be helping a lot to do it where I can't repeat it, so I can't use boring 2 times. I can't use frustrating. It's just expanding my vocabulary to have to do more than one. And then the washi tape I'm using, it was from Shein, I believe. The only thing is that it's not kiss cut, so I have to cut out every little element that I want to use myself. And that takes some time, and sometimes the backing doesn't want to come off of it, it's its own trial and tribulations. But like I said, here I am putting in my weekly, and then I have a meal tracker at the bottom of the weekly. After using it for the first week, it's working well and helping. Tracking my meals is something I've always wanted to do and never really found a solid way that I could do it consistently. And this seems to be helping. And I love having a weekly to plan out what content I want posted, what I'm posting, what I'm doing, that kind of thing on a weekly level. It may not happen on the day, but it's nice to have a way to look at it and know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. So that's what's happening here. And then in between my weeklies, I'm still doing dailies. And I did you'll see here in a second when I start adding in dates. The first daily I do is actually for the 4th of November, not the 1st, because I included November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the previous week. So I just want to do the first full week of November, and then the first daily, though, is the 1st of November. Now we're moving on to my daily grind. I actually decided to go ahead and make myself some trackers in Canva. So if that's something you're interested in, if you see something on here that you're interested in, let me know, and I can either start up a Google Doc with all of them in it, and you can download it that way, or I can email it over to you. Anything like that works. But I did go ahead and make my own trackers because I wanted them for my daily grind. And so first thing I'm doing is just decorating my monthly. I use this white script washi in almost this entire setup because I love the way it looks. It's not too big of writing that I feel like it is distracting on the page, but it's also not too small that you can't tell what it is. And then I'm using the Pen Gear 12 full year sticker book that I have that I absolutely love to do a few stickers and things of days off and all that kind of stuff. My birthday is the 23rd of November, so I am taking the 22nd off, and then we get Thanksgiving off. And I didn't mark it here, and honestly I didn't even realize it until my boss mentioned it, but I have the 11th of November off too, which was great. Excuse me. So there's that. And now I'm going through and just showing you all of the trackers I made. I have a reading tracker, a meal tracker. I did a savings one, and then I have weekly ones that I put in the pages, which really help. Here I'm going through and marking the weekends again on my November habits. I have the blank document of this one, but for mine, I just have little symbols that represent each habit I'm tracking. And then I'm taking this filler paper I got from Amazon. It is the classic Happy Planner size. So when you put it in a daily grind, it is one disc less than the daily grind. But I'm using it to to glue the November habits and everything on because it's just printer paper I printed on. I just have found that it holds up a little bit better going in and out of my planner. It doesn't bleed through as bad as some of the rest of them. And I honestly like having it the double layer because it feels thick and sturdy when I'm planning with it. So yeah, I'm gluing all the trackers I printed out onto these pieces instead of just hole punching them because I made them a little smaller than the classic paper so I could glue that on. Next, we're doing my meal plan. I have two versions of this. One has a calendar and then one's just this list format. The list format is what I decided to go with for the month, and I'm kind of regretting it at this moment. I'll let y'all know come December how I really feel, but right now it's not clicking for me. It's not doing what I need it to. It just, I don't know. I'm not getting in to fill it in as often. So today's Sunday, so I'm going to go backfill and fill everything in and see what I think. But I don't think it is the one I'm going to use again. I'll probably go back to the other meal tracker. If you're wondering why I'm taking the ruler, I have found that when I glue anything down, if I take the little protractor ruler and take and smooth it out, the glue actually goes pretty evenly and I don't have any lift. So if you're wondering why I kept doing that, is because I found there's no lift when I do that versus when I don't. After about half the month, there's some lift and I have to re-glue. But this is my reading tracker, so you have days right at the top and then books finished at the bottom. It's just the days I finished a book. I think that one calendar would do me. I don't think I need the second calendar, but it is what it is, because sometimes I'll be listening to audiobooks and finish 2 audiobooks in a day or 3. There's no way to really denote that. And then you have my weekly tracker. So this one is actually bigger than the paper, just by a little bit. It is actually more true to daily grind size, but I have found that, again, I like the thickness and having the extra paper on the back, so I went ahead and glued it to this filler paper. And what I'm going to do is I will take my next week's and glue it on the back as well. And then the bottom one on my weekly is always left open to whatever I want it to be. On the week I'm setting up here, I went ahead and did exercise, which was a massive fail. I think next week I'm going to do days I'll walk Jack. Now we're moving on into my book journal setup. So this is the shortest setup I had because I literally just glued in the two cover pages for November, and then I was done with it. I need to get in there and update it pretty soon, and you do have reviews coming pretty soon for almost all the books I read in October. But I'm just gluing in the my to be read and my books finished page, and it's again that same photo from Pinterest that I put in Canva and then did the lettering and boxes and everything over the top of it. If you're wanting a blank one of these, again, leave me a comment and I can definitely drop you a link or email it over to you, because it literally took me probably all of 15 minutes once I got it sized the way I wanted it. The sizing was the hardest part of trying to get this right, and where I wanted things to sit and how much writing room I needed, that kind of thing. But it worked beautifully, and there you go. There we go. There's my November setup. And I think I went ahead and put 2 of my books for November in here. I didn't really at this point know what I wanted to read for November totally. I knew I wanted to finish Guild and Priory, maybe? I'm trying to remember what the other one was. No, The Spell Shop. It was the other one I put in here. I'm actually not doing The Spell Shop this month, so it's not on my hopefuls list. I added this probably around the 3rd week of October, so Halloween hadn't happened yet. So it was the weekend before Halloween when I did this, not realizing that I wasn't going to actually get to The Spell Shop, and then I'm going to save it for December. Or my first read of the year, one of the two. But as you can tell, I'm just using that same script washi that I used everywhere else. And this one I'm actually going to cut the edges from where it goes over the picture. That way it looks like it's behind it. If I had thought ahead, I would have laid it first and then did the picture, but I didn't. So we're just going to take and lightly cut through the washi down the edge of the paper, and then take and move it and put it on the other side. And then I'll do the to be read as well here in just a second and do it the same way. But yeah, there you have it. There's the setup in all 3 of my journals. You will be getting pretty soon my 2025 plan with me and my December plan with me. I'm very excited for both of those. For 2025, I am doing my yearly journal again, so there will be a setup of that. And I'll be doing a setup in my reading journal. That one probably won't come out to the first of the year because I want to make sure I get all of December's books in December before I set up for 2025. But we shall see. I could be wrong. I might just leave a certain number of pages and then move it over. But my plan right now is to wait till the end of December when I've already done all the reading I want to do, then add that one in there. And then as you can see, I'm just pulling this up so I can lay the washi underneath it instead of having to cut it again. But some of it was glued really, really well, so I couldn't lift it up. But yeah, there you have it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or you want any of the printables, let me know and I will send them over to you, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye guys.